There are a few living things here, but they're very few and hard to find.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 unexplored places on Earth.
The only way to get there is on a U.S. military plane.
For this list, we're looking at remote locations around Earth that have seen very few or no human visitors. Which of these do you find the most fascinating? Let us know in the comments below. Number 20, Hranica Abyss, Hranica, Czech Republic. Anything labeled as an abyss is sure to kickstart the imagination. Found near Hranica, Czech Republic is the Hranica Abyss, a massive pit cave measuring 1 kilometer or over 3,000 feet deep. The cave is so mysterious that it wasn't extensively studied until the 21st century. In 2016, the cave's depth was measured at 1,553 feet, and it wasn't until 2020 that scientists made the 1 kilometer observation, making the Hranica Abyss the world's deepest freshwater cave. And even though scientists know it's 1 kilometer deep, the studies were conducted via geophysical techniques and not a manned excursion. As such, the Hranica Abyss remains completely unexplored. Number 19, Pitcairn Island, the Pacific Ocean. Officially a part of the British Overseas Territory, Pitcairn Island is nearly inaccessible. It reportedly takes over 30 hours to boat from New Zealand to Pitcairn, and legend has it that planes have never landed on the island. Pitcairn is officially populated with 47 natives, most of whom are descended from the famous Mutiny on the Bounty. A very popular story, Captain William Bligh was overthrown by Fletcher Christian and a small group of disgruntled crewmen, and this group eventually settled on Pitcairn with their Tahitian captives. Their distant descendants continue to live on Pitcairn, and the Bounty can still be seen under the waters of Bounty Bay. They remain closed off thousands of miles away from modern civilization. Number 18, Cape Melville, Australia. Found on the northeastern tip of Australia is Cape Melville, encompassing both Cape Melville National Park and Great Barrier Reef Marine Park. Despite its official distinction, Cape Melville is completely isolated, with the nearest metropolis being Brisbane, an expansive 1,000 miles away. Very few people have walked and explored the Melville Range, a local rainforest and mountain range that's protected by unique granite outcrops. In 2013, a team of scientists discovered 3 new species of gecko, skink, and frog that had been living in isolation on Cape Melville for millions of years. As biologist Conrad Hoskin told AFP, quote, "The top of Cape Melville is a lost world." Number 17, Gangkhar Punsum, Bhutan. Meaning White Peak of the 3 spiritual brothers, Gangkhar Punsum is found in the Kingdom of Bhutan and is the highest unclimbed mountain in the world.
That there is the mighty Gangkhar Punsum, the highest unclimbed peak in the world.
Measuring just over 24,800 feet, Gangkhar Punsum is about 400 feet higher than runner-up Machu Picchu in Pakistan. The mountain has remained so mysterious throughout the years that some people didn't even know where it was, including the first climbers, who got lost reading the inaccurate maps of the area. Attempts at scaling the mountain were made throughout the 80s, but none was successful.
The first attempt on Gangkhar Punsum was by the Japanese in 1985. Fixing ropes up the mountain, they followed an obvious gully.
However, climbing has been banned since 1994, a combination of local spiritual beliefs and a lack of rescue resources. As such, the peak of Gangkhar Punsum remains untouched by human hands and feet. Number 16, New Hebrides Trench, the Pacific Ocean. It's amazing how much of the ocean remains unexplored. Discovered back in 1910 by a German vessel, New Hebrides Trench measures 25,000 feet deep, 750 miles long, and 45 miles wide. And it's found between the South Pacific islands of Vanuatu and New Caledonia. Not only had the trench been completely undetected until the early 20th century, but it wasn't even explored until 2014. It was then that a scientific expedition sent down an unmanned lander equipped with cameras and captured the likes of eels, prawns, and various crustaceans. It was the first time in human history that the creatures of New Hebrides Trench had been photographed. Number 15. Northeast Greenland National Park, Greenland. Officially the world's largest island, Greenland has been inhabited for over 4,000 years. Norsemen famously colonized the southern reaches of Greenland beginning in the 10th century, and this is where most natives continue to live.
It doesn't get much more remote than this.
The country's most populous cities, Nuuk and Sisimiut, are found in the southwest. Contrasting this is the Northeast Greenland National Park, a massive area that is larger than 85% of the world's countries. No one permanently lives within the boundaries of the park, and aside from scattered research stations, it remains completely barren. That is, aside from the native mammals like musk oxen, polar bears, and Arctic foxes. Number 14. Sakha, the Republic of Sakha, or Yakutia. While nearly 1 million people live within the Russian Republic of Sakha, they are mostly concentrated within one specific area. For example, the capital city of Yakutsk holds 1/3 of the region's inhabitants, with a population of 311,000. The rest of the republic, which is roughly the size of India, is basically a frozen wasteland. Sakha has a reputation for being horrifically cold, and Yakutsk resides on continuous permafrost. The small town of Verkhoyansk once reached -90 degrees Fahrenheit, making it the coldest temperature ever recorded above the Arctic Circle. The locality of Oymyakon is also recognized as the coldest inhabited place on Earth, with a daily mean of -50 degrees Fahrenheit throughout the winter months and a record high January temperature of just 2 degrees.
The worst thing here is that you can underestimate the cold.
Number 13. The Namib, Southern Africa. Found on the western shore of Namibia is the Namib, a vast desert and UNESCO World Heritage Site that stretches nearly 1,000 miles long.
It has been said that the name Namib means emptiness, but no one really knows. And the mute sands conceal the mysteries of its age, history, and origin.
Most of the desert is inaccessible and contains very few human settlements, bar a small number of outposts and indigenous groups like the Herero and Nama Khoikhoi. A large portion of the desert is contained within the Namib-Naukluft National Park, which is only accessible via specialized aircraft and dirt roads.
It's not as large as the Sahara, but it's probably the world's oldest desert.
The Namib is not a friendly place, and the historic San peoples were forced to drink the juice from the Sama melon for water. When you think of vast, barren, dry, and disgustingly hot deserts with blowing sand dunes, you think of the Namib.
The Namib is certainly a treasure in the literal sense of the word, for it's the richest source of diamonds on the planet.
Number 12. Patagonia, South America. A geographical region encompassing both Chile and Argentina, Patagonia is a wild and unpredictable landscape. To the east are barren deserts and steppes, and to the west, fjords, glaciers, and rainforests. The southwest portion of Patagonia is particularly inhospitable, owing to its dense, remote forests and massive ice fields. This includes the southern Patagonian ice field, which spans 6,500 square miles. The ice field wasn't explored until the early 20th century, and some portions remain both untouched and unseen. Included within the ice field is Bernardo O'Higgins National Park, which is rarely visited owing to its seclusion and taxing geographical features. Number 11. Fiordland National Park, New Zealand. Fiordland National Park is the largest of its kind in all of New Zealand, encompassing 4,868 square miles. The park takes its name from the many fjords that define the landscape. Deep trenches formed long ago by glaciers, the fjords cut through rainforests, mountains, and lakes to awe-inspiring effect. Despite it being a national park, much of it has yet to actually be explored due to its inaccessibility and massive size. New plant and animal species almost certainly reside there, just waiting to be discovered. Fun fact, scenes from the Lord of the Rings trilogy were actually filmed in the Fiordland.
You shall not pass!
Number 10. The Mariana Trench, the Pacific Ocean. The deepest oceanic trench on Earth. The Mariana Trench is found in the Pacific Ocean in the middle of Japan, the Philippines, and Papua New Guinea.
Where the seafloor drops to more than 6,000 meters, the pressure is so enormous that it destroys the structure of the cells of which an animal is made.
It measures over 1,500 miles in length and is at least 36,000 feet deep, making it nearly 10,000 feet taller than Mount Everest. The pressure found within the deepest parts of the trench makes exploring incredibly difficult, and only a small number of people and exploratory crafts have made the descent since the trench was found in 1875. Despite the pressure, the Mariana Trench is home to a number of creatures, including snailfish, single-celled amoebas, and amphipods measuring 1 foot in length.
We now know that there is life down there, but we still know very little about it.
Number 9. Shortsey Island, Iceland. Beautiful in a desolate sort of way, this island is a relatively new addition to our world. Shortsey was formed by volcanic eruptions between 1963 and 1967 off Iceland's southern coast. Largely free of human interference, the island is closed off to the public. Only authorized researchers have permission to land. As a newly developed island, it was initially devoid of life. Soon enough, however, different types of birds, insects, and plants began to appear on the island, and that's what makes it so exciting from a scientific perspective. Here, researchers have the unique opportunity to observe the process through which local ecosystems are established. Number 8. Underwater caves, Riviera Maya, Mexico. Riviera Maya has some of the most spectacular cave systems in the world. It's also home to some of the longest cave systems in the world, such as the Sistema Oxbel A and Sistema dos Ojos. Freshwater sinkholes, commonly referred to as cenotes, provide natural access to these networks of caves. But while the cenotes themselves are often popular with travelers, the depths of the caves are a different story entirely. The deepest and most remote parts of the caves have never been open to the public. And considering the ancient Maya civilization used to throw human sacrifices into these cenotes and possibly artifacts, who knows what's waiting to be discovered down in the depths. Number 7. Tsingy de Bemara National Park, Madagascar. Tsingy is the term used to describe the steep, pointed limestone structures and plateaus formed by groundwater erosion in this area of northwestern Madagascar. A Malagasy word, Tsingy roughly translates to where one cannot walk barefoot. As it turns out, however, the meaning applies to more than just barefoot exploration, but arguably any sort of exploration. The terrain is very difficult to navigate, presenting numerous formidable barriers to those looking to uncover the park's secrets. Which is a shame because scientists already know there are many endemic species, i.e. plants and animals found nowhere else on Earth. The national park's namesake rock formations are so dense and inaccessible, in fact, that they're sometimes called forests. Number 6. Mount Mabu Rainforest, Mozambique, Africa. Hard though it might be to believe, this rainforest only came to the attention of the scientific community in the 21st century. Prior to that, it was known to locals, but its unique flora and fauna had yet to be documented.
What was interesting about this site was the surrounding land was heavily cultivated, and then the crater containing rainforest was very dense and intact. And I thought that was a little bit strange because there should be evidence of human disturbance.
This high-altitude rainforest, because of the distinctly challenging geography, requires extensive planning to visit. And because of the role Google Maps played in identifying and understanding the area, it's commonly referred to in the media as Google Forest. Though it wasn't easy to get there, upon entering the rainforest, researchers have been thrilled to discover a largely untouched ecosystem, including various previously unknown species.
When you enter into a forest, everything changes. The forest is cool. The canopy is high and it's very shady. Life is buzzing all around you.
And there are likely many more left to be discovered.
To actually find a hidden rainforest, which turns out to be the largest in southern Africa, shows that we don't have all the answers and we don't know what's out there.
Number 5. Northern Forest Complex, Myanmar. If you're looking for untarnished wilderness and/or a place where you're sure to make new discoveries, you couldn't ask for much better. Because Myanmar has been engaged in the longest civil war in history, the Northern Forest Complex has been largely off-limits for some time. The silver lining of this situation is that it served to preserve the natural forests, but the scientific community is naturally anxious to get in there and explore. And even as the country opens up, many challenges remain. The dense jungle has no roads or paths, and the terrain is rather inhospitable, with scorching heat, torrential rain, and mountain peaks thousands of feet in height. Number 4. Son Doong Cave, Vietnam. The largest known cave in the world. Han Son Doong is so massive that an entire city block could fit inside it. The cave is estimated to be somewhere between 2 and 5 million years old, but it was only discovered relatively recently. Though a local man is credited with first having found it in 1991, Son Doong Cave didn't receive international attention until 2009 when the British Cave Research Association, or BCRA, organized an expedition.
It's an absolutely amazing atmosphere, and it's hard to take in. It's breathtaking and absolutely huge.
The cave has many unexplored regions in its depths and likely holds countless wonders. As if that's not enough, collapsed portions of the cave allow in enough light that it even has its own forest.
What I want to convey is the feeling of being there, about walking through this pristine, beautiful place, this cave in Vietnam, and making people realize that places like this are part of our heritage and need to be preserved.
Number 3, the Amazon rainforest, South America. The stuff of legend, literature, and film, the Amazon rainforest is perhaps the modern equivalent of a lost world. For one thing, the place is gigantic, measuring over 2 billion square miles.
The Amazon basin dominates the northern half of South America, stretching over 400 million hectares.
Mapping and exploring the forest has proven incredibly difficult thanks to its enormous size and density, as much of the area is coated in thick forest cover.
The world's largest rainforest is watered by the world's mightiest river, the Amazon.
Many dangerous creatures like piranhas, poison dart frogs, jaguars, and various forms of deadly snakes can also be found within the rainforest, which further deters intricate exploration. In fact, the rainforest is so unknown and unexplored that previously uncontacted tribes were found within an area known as Vale do Javari in 2011.
They're the ones that took the photos during a recent flyover of the Vale do Javari region of the Amazon.
Number 2, the Star and Nakanai Mountains, Papua New Guinea. Because of the various geographical barriers, much of Papua New Guinea is, from a scientific perspective, unexplored. Entire forests of flora and fauna have yet to be documented. As such, it's likely home to wonders that we can only imagine. The Star Mountains, for example, are especially hard to visit due to the natural rock formation known as the Hindenburg Wall, a limestone barrier that rises to approximately 1 mile above sea level. The Nakanai Mountains, for their part, are so remote and undisturbed that in 2009, researchers found approximately 200 species never before seen in just 60 days. Over the last few decades, researchers have found upwards of 1,000 new species on or around the island of New Guinea.
I mean, the area in Papua New Guinea provides a key watershed for thousands of people who depend on its fisheries and natural resources and, of course, most basically water.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1, Devon Island, Canada. At 21,331 square miles, Devon Island is the largest uninhabited island on the planet. To put that in context, it's only about 500 square miles smaller than the country of Croatia. But that's not all Devon has going for it. The island's environment is remarkable in that it actually closely resembles that of Mars. Because of the uniquely intense conditions, NASA uses this polar desert to train for manned missions to the Red Planet.
This is a place that is barren.
Vast, intimidating.
You're rambling through areas that are quite dangerous.
It's isolated and remote and rocky, just like the surface of Mars is.
Though there is a research station that's run by the Arctic Institute of North America, no one lives here permanently. In fact, the conditions are so inhospitable that only a small number of birds and mammals can survive, as well as extremophiles, organisms that thrive in extreme environments.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.